Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, it's only right, since I would have put up my videos about me finding an apartment and stuff like that, like I'll just come on here to just give you like a synopsis of what it was like in terms of the process of finding an apartment, for my fellow nurses or even just regular persons who are desirous of migrating, to just give you an idea of what the process of finding an apartment is like. All right, so pretty much when you come to the UK, um your accommodation would be basically um based on what arrangements you would have had with your employers and stuff like that. So the company in which I was employed, the deal was that they would have sorted you out with accommodation for like the first month, and then thereafter you would have been responsible for yourself thereafter. Luckily for me, I had a friend here, so I didn't necessarily have to stay where they wanted me to stay for that entire month because I had an option. And then I wasn't really rushed or pressured into like finding an apartment within a month, because that can be quite tedious, especially when I came, it was like I was on quarantine, and then I started working, and then we moved right into lockdown and all of that. So it would have been quite a bit of challenge, trying to find an apartment ASAP within that short space of time to like move and to find exactly what you're looking for. So luckily for me, I wasn't rushed, I wasn't pressured into finding a place. But then at the end of the day, it's nice when you have your own space and everything like that. So what I did in the meantime, I started, hunting for the apartments and stuff like that. So some of the websites that I would normally go on, there are quite a few. I won't be able to exhaust every site that is there, but in the UK here, there is Zoopla. That's a website that you can go on. There is On the Market. There is Rightmove. There is also Facebook Marketplace, where you can look for apartments in whichever area that you want. And there is one called, I think, Nestoria, and among others, right? So pretty much what I would do is that each day I get up, or each night whenever I have some free time, I would just browse on those websites. Also, I would set alerts that if I didn't see anything at the moment, that if something does become available, then I will be alerted and stuff like that. So pretty much I would have looked at a few places, but persons can be quite funny sometimes, like in terms of just filming their places, but you don't necessarily want it and stuff like that. And then sometimes there were places that I looked at that still had persons in the house, so it was a matter of the person, just allowing you to view the apartment while they're still there and stuff like that. So in terms of respecting people's privacy and stuff like that, I really didn't vlog the process of me going to different places and viewing and things like that. So I just left that part of it. All right, so basically the only video that I have of a empty apartment is this one that I'm in currently, because as I said, for privacy reasons and other reasons, I just didn't vlog the process. And it was quite a bit of hassle because I kept looking at places, but I really didn't like most of what I saw. At the end of the day, when you leave work after working so hard, you want somewhere that's really comfortable. I wanted somewhere that was close to work. I wanted somewhere that had schools close by, somewhere that was close to the town center. And it's really hard to find all of this while trying to work within a certain budget and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, you don't want to find the ideal place, but then the rent is so expensive, because then it would defeat the purpose. You understand? So from the get-go, you kind of have to have an idea of what exactly you're looking for, what you're able to, some things you may compromise on certain things, and most importantly to know what your budget is. All right, so for example, for me, I definitely know I needed a 2 bedroom place. All right, so in the area that I'm at, an average place is about £500. All right, so not that you're necessarily gonna get a place for £500 that you like, but at the end of the day, that's what the average rent in this area would be like. So basically, I know from the get-go that my budget would have been anywhere between 500 to £600. I mean, if I found somewhere that really looked nice, that was like for probably 650, then I would probably try to see the greater good and go for it. But my cap was within that range, because at the end of the day, based on how much your pay is, how much you're gonna pay for other expenses and stuff like that, you still want, you want your rent to be within a certain range pretty much. So I knew from the get-go that I wanted my budget was within that figure. And basically I searched and I took my time and I found the ideal place. And yeah, I mean, not that the place is really lovely. There may be little drawbacks here and there, and there may have been places that would have looked better, but I mean, I was quite satisfied with this. The only downfall, for example, like for this place, is that it doesn't have like a built-in closet and stuff like that. But those are things that you can just, you just get a closet. You understand? So it would have been more ideal if you had like a built-in closet, because it saves back on space, save back on you acquiring this heap of furnitures and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, that's something that I could compromise and say, okay, well, I'll just buy like a wardrobe and such. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm really happy with this location that I got. I'm glad I took the time out, take my own time to really find the kind of place that I want at the end of the day, and I'm really happy here. And at the end of the day, whenever anyone wants to, relocate and find a place and stuff like that, just make sure you have enough time to go around, shop around, see what's out there and stuff like that. Don't feel pressured into taking anywhere. I mean, if your place of employment is putting you up somewhere and they tell you that you can only stay there for a month, if when it's coming close to the end of that month and you probably can ask for extension, you do so, just to ensure that you find a real like somewhere that you really would love and enjoy, because at the end of the day, it's all about being content and stuff like that. Now, talking about seeing the place and getting the place is another story, because how it works is not that you're gonna just look at somewhere and you see it and you be like, oh, I like this, I want it, and you're gonna get it. It doesn't always work like that. Usually, after you would have looked at the place, other people are going to look at this place too. So at the end of the day, it is all left up to the landlord / the letting agency to decide who they're going to give the place to at the end of the day. Because there was a place that I saw previously, I really liked it. It was like so perfect, and I really would have loved if I got the place, but I didn't. And then I had to just deal with it and say, okay, well, it is what it is. I just didn't get it, and then I have to start searching again. So it's really left at the end of the day up to the landlord, up to the letting agency to decide who they're gonna give the place. All right, because there are a series of things that they may look at. Some of the places require that you be here for at least 6 months. Come on, if you're just coming into the country, how are you gonna be here for 6 months before you can actually get a place? Some of them is gonna do like background credit checks, or some of them will tell you that they want you to be employed for at least 6 months in a permanent job prior to you getting the place and stuff like that. So sometimes depends on which letting agency you're going with, depending on which landlord you're gonna have at the end of the day. There might be criteria that you just won't meet, and there's no point trying to argue it or fight it or whatever the case might be. It is just what it is. You just work with it. If you tell you that you can't get it, you don't qualify, you just move on and you just look another place. As I said, it is what it is at the end of the day. All right. So now you would have seen a place and they possibly shortlist you to tell you that, okay, they're gonna go through with your referencing and stuff like that. Now there are a series of stuff that they would do. They probably would contact like your place of work. Some places require that you have a guarantor. A guarantor is usually a homeowner who's making, I think, 50 times what the rent costs for the year and stuff like that. Luckily for me, they didn't require a guarantor, but they would have, you know, do the referencing from your place of work, and the letting agency that I went with did like a background credit check. So at the end of the day, it depends on which letting agency you're going with and what is their requirement. I can only speak for what applied to me in my case. I mean, maybe another time I'll talk about an experience that I had with a previous letting agency, I mean, before this one that I secure, but I'll just stick to just talking about me getting this apartment. So pretty much after that, you know, you'd have scheduled your moving date and stuff like that. Then, you know, there's a lot of paperwork to go through in terms of, you know, reading about your rental contract, your right to rent, and, you know, trying to know basic stuff before you're moving and such. Yeah, and basically I was only required to pay like the first month rent and like a security deposit, which I did prior to moving in. So when you know that you get the place, they usually ask for like a deposit, which they would usually hold that deposit until you would have provided all the documents or whatever they would have asked you for. Usually that amount of money is now deductible from what it would cost for the first month rent and the initial deposit. So pretty much that's what the process is like. I mean, prior to coming here, I didn't even know that it would have been so much paperwork in terms of getting a place. I had like a whole thick thing of papers, reading, signing through and stuff like that. And it's in your best interest to read, because a lot of times we sign things we don't know what we are signing to, but it's in your best interest to read some of these things before you sign. Make sure you know what you're signing to. All right, so I'm just here trying to settle in. I mean, the process may seem long and tedious, but it's really not. It's just a matter of having patience, and I am glad I had patience and I found the place that I wanted at the end of the day. All right, when you move in, it's a whole different ball game. Now, you know, you're gonna have your council tax, your heating and electricity, your water, your cable, your broadband, and all of that. That's a whole different story. I mean, I'm just in the process of doing those now. When I do those, when I'm finished with those, and when I see what the process is like, then I will, you know, come on here to explain what that process is like. But at least I would have given you a synopsis of what it is like to get your own apartment in the UK. All right, particularly where I'm at. All right, I really hope this video, I mean, can help someone. It's not the typical fun, laughing and stuff like that, but it's just to pass on some information that may benefit someone, you know, who is also in the process of trying to find apartments and stuff like that. All right, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting on? Go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's free. All right, I'll be sharing a lot of information on here that can benefit you, yes, you, or someone you know. All right, so go ahead. If you like my content, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share, and definitely subscribe. I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.